By the end of June, 2,500 American soldiers in the International Army. Their mission: put an end to the rebellion and liberate the hostages. Far from Peking, prices faced increasing danger. We're living in a suspense that cannot be imagined, ever wrote. We live moment by moment.
And now they come out with this official report. I don't get it. For the only person who was first was winner, and Renner said, if you want to make documents, you have to work. If you read this, the official statement here, at whatever time you want, Mr. Renner has done, I was still from this
A killer heat wave hit America that summer, holding most of the nation in its grip. From Portland, Maine to the Great Lakes, summer meant escaping to the shore, if only for a day. As never before, vacations were becoming a part of American life.
No pimp dog. No pimp dog.
The wealthy spent their summers in exclusive enclaves. In 1900, there were 4,000 millionaires. With no income tax, the $1 million went a long way. The rich idled their summers away, living much as kings would. If kings had the money.
By 1900, the great American fortunes far surpassed the fortunes of the leading dukes and lords, royal heads of Europe. In the summers, these people went to Newport, to Southampton, to Maine, and they built fabulous, luxurious chateaus. Especially in Newport, that was the fashionable colony.
There were ornate palaces with over 100 rooms, called cottages, and competitions to see who could hold the most outrageous party. One host invited his guests to bring their horses to a sit-down dinner.
People gave elaborate costume balls, and one of them, there were something like 14 people who came as Louis XVI. There were lots of people, a few Marie Antoinettes.
In small towns that summer, there were picnics, sports, fireworks. Music of John Philip Sousa.
John Philip Sousa was everywhere in 1900, and band music was everywhere. There weren't too many middle-class people in America listening to Beethoven, because how could they? There were no recordings yet. They couldn't go to the concert hall. The Philharmonic was not accessible. Band music on tour, the concert in the park was cooking. in 1900. People loved him. John Philip Sousa was the Arthur Fiedler of his time, but didn't have any strings, he didn't have any violins, he couldn't do a lot of things, he didn't have any pianists, he had bands, horns. I mean, you had to be heard across the park.
Sousa was king, but in 1900, outdoor band concerts had a new kind of competition. Americans everywhere were listening to records, buying sheet music and pianos, and singing the same songs. The music industry had just been born. Songs had become commodities.
It was possible to publish a tune in New York on Friday and have copies of it in San Francisco next week. Not to mention Des Moines and everywhere in between. The 5 and 10. That's where the music was merchandised. Get some music. Here was finally a business, an industry. There's money to be made. And out of the woodwork come all of these young dudes saying, hey, man, let's go into the music business. I don't know anything about it. Never mind. We can sell sheet music. They sold a million copies in Chicago last week. Let's go.
In 1900, a new hit was flying off the racks of 5 and dime stores all across the country. Maple Leaf Rag and Scott Joplin.
1899, late in the year, Scott Joplin's first successful rag, Maple Leaf Rag, is published out in Missouri. In 1900, it snowballed. It sold and sold and sold, and it's probably the best-selling rag of all time.
Joplin had learned classical music from his father, a former slave who was an accomplishment, from his mother, who played the banjo and sang in church choirs.
Ragtime is not an unsophisticated music. Rhythmically, it's complex. The left hand keeps a constant beat. The right hand is constantly going off that beat, that continuously, and creates an elation. I can't explain why that is, but in the hands of someone who knows how to do it, it's exciting.
In 1900, Joplin was 32 years old and had spent most of his life traveling around the Midwest making music with other African-American musicians, the musicians who invented ragtime.
In 1900, you have these very talented young black musicians who are now absorbing all the music that's around them. They heard French quadrilles, they heard Baptist hymns, plus they heard the European masters. They heard Chopin, they heard Mendelssohn. But because it came from the black world, the whole thing was considered as gross, an intrusion, bad.
This plague is upon us like an epidemic of cholera. The people have sold themselves body and soul to the music of Satan. Alas, this is what sells.
It's going to take some time for the pianists, not to mention the ears of Americans, to say, what is that? Wow, I like that. What are they playing here? I mean, it's exciting. What do they call that? Oh, they call it ragtime.
In China, the crisis grew more ominous as the siege in Peking continued. Inside the foreign compound, 480 men were holding off 20,000 Chinese with just 5 cannons. Supplies were dwindling. The diplomats and their families were surviving on rice and the meat from slaughtered horses. American Consul Edwin Conger managed to smuggle out one last desperate message: quick relief only to prevent general massacres. But American soldiers were still many miles from Peking, fighting their way through the countryside, alongside Welsh Fusiliers, Bengal Lancers, Punjabi, Sikhs, Russians, Japanese, French, Italians.
The United States had never sent a military force outside the Western Hemisphere until 1898. Suddenly, in 1900, we have 5,000 American troops on the mainland of Asia, fighting in league with the European powers. This was something that was unimaginable 2 years before.
If only soldiers would come into our province, Everprice wrote home, we would probably be saved. We have so long and prayed they may come in time.
They were virtually trapped because they were in the interior, and really was almost no way out. And all they could hope for really was the Allied soldiers would come soon.
And I fair to say, people thought his career was over after that. Like, he messed off the greatest opportunity of his career. Maybe left a lot of money on the table looking back as he was saving the world. But now, he gets invested and working
On July 5th, Theodore Roosevelt, campaigning in the Midwest, defended McKinley's decision to send troops to China. America's new role as a world power demanded, he said. As for the war in the Philippines, we should hold on to that island nation at any cost. I am for expansion every time, Roosevelt told the crowd. I do not want this flag to come down where our men have fought and shed their blood for it. That same day, from his home in Lincoln, Nebraska, William Jennings Bryan, the Democratic candidate for president, challenged the Republican Party's vision of a more militant America. 4 years before, Bryan had also won the nomination and gone down to defeat calling McKinley a pawn of big business. Now he labeled the president an imperialist. Imperialism, Bryan told reporters, is the most dangerous of the evils now menacing our country.
This was the time when the Philippine insurrection was going badly. This was the time when the Boxers were besieging the foreign capital, and we did not know whether or not they were going to massacre all of the foreigners in China. And it looked as though McKinley's foreign policies were in shambles.
All summer, Bryan drew huge crowds across the country as he lashed out at the president for trampling the rights of the people of Asia. We dare not educate the Filipinos, Bryan said, unless they learn to read the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States.
Bryan believes that American foreign policy is immoral and that the United States has no business fighting these kinds of wars. He believes that what McKinley has done is not only corrupt American society, but has corrupted the American Constitution.
While McKinley managed his campaign from behind the scenes in Canton, Ohio, Roosevelt answered Bryan's charges.
Theodore Roosevelt was the best possible spokesman McKinley could have found to make the imperialist case in 1900. He was the symbol of American
Expansion of a great civilized power, Roosevelt wrote, means a victory for law, order, and righteousness.
The Democrats attacked the Republican society on other races than with the Indians, and he had known too many Democrats who really objected to this. And as he said at one point, if we are going to turn the Philippines back to the Filipinos, then we should turn Arizona back to the Apaches.
Second month. Then on August 13th, after more than a month of fierce fighting, the International Army at last reached the Chinese capital, met by the sickening stench of unburied dead. The Chinese had dug trenches around the city wall. They controlled all the gates. The next morning, the international forces attacked. broke through the gates and routed the Chinese. After